As you might imagine, I have deep concern and interest in social issues. Now, of course, social issues often intersect with other kinds of issues, but probably I care more about social issues than most other kinds of issues. In its way, it's very easy for me to be supportive of the American Democratic Party, whose candidates are almost always socially progressive. The issue is that historically, moderate Democrats are usually the ones to win major elections. Usually this means a trade-off of progressive social policy for economic and foreign policy that is indistinguishable from that of the Republican candidates. And maybe you agree with conservative economic policy or hawkish foreign policy, but I certainly don't. Now, President Barack Obama is cool and he's really good at making speeches, so most liberals like him. He's pretty favorable among progressives. And this is even though he's immensely beholden to corporate interests and he's like a war hawk, basically. But this is what we get. These are the candidates we have. The so-called establishment candidates. These are people that happen to agree with us on social issues like gay marriage or gun control. But at the end of the day, they're really working for the interests of large corporations and other organizations. And as a progressive, I'm told that I have to vote for these people in order to keep Republicans from winning because they're the only ones that have a shot. And unfortunately, that's probably true as it currently stands. A couple weeks ago, I made a Facebook post criticizing people who said that they would not vote for Hillary Clinton if Bernie Sanders didn't win the nomination. But I suppose I was making that argument through the lens of social issues. And the reality is there are lots of issues to take into account. The economy, worker and consumer protection, healthcare, education, foreign policy, corruption, the list goes on. My thought is if I consider myself a progressive, I should support progressive candidates that will enact progressive policy. And beyond social issues, I don't know if I could actually say that about Hillary Clinton for the most part. Likewise, if you're a conservative or libertarian or socialist or anarchist or environmentalist, you should support a candidate that you think will advocate for your interests. I guess what I'm saying is we need to stop voting for people that we don't like. So I amend my position. If the candidate that you like doesn't win their party's nomination, don't vote for the other person just because they're the lesser of two evils. Unless you also like that candidate, then of course vote for them. Or if you think like some people do that it's a matter of life or death that some person doesn't win, then obviously you might want to vote strategically in that situation. But here's the key. Vote for someone. And don't get me wrong, if you don't vote for a Republican or Democrat, your candidate probably will not win. However, at some point we have to tell the world that we're not just gonna sit back and take it. This lesser of two evils thing it's not gonna cut it. It's unsustainable. Voting bad candidates in just to avoid worse ones, all that does is make things get worse slower. It doesn't make things get better. Now we obviously can't change the game overnight, but if we slowly but surely tell the world that we actually want candidates that advocate for our interests instead of the interests of the faceless organizations that fund them, they'll have no choice but to eventually notice. So if Bernie Sanders doesn't win the nomination, I won't vote for Hillary. I'll probably vote for Jill Stein. And I think you should do some research and see if you can find a candidate that you actually like, not one that's just a little less shitty than the other guy. There are 5 major political parties in America, and each of them will probably have a candidate in November. I know 5 isn't a big choice either, but it is better than 2. And even if you don't like any of those 5, you can still do research and find people at any level of government or any office or anything really. Just find people you support and give them your support. The whole idea is showing the world that we are willing to support people we actually like. And I know this is a very America-centric video, but I think the concept can be applied to any place that has democratic elections. Continuing to support incompetent and corrupt people is just a terrible idea that could have catastrophic results. So I think it's time that we just start reversing that trend. That's just me though, but I want to know what you think. Drop a comment. Shout outs to all of the new subscribers. How you doing? Consider hitting the thumbs up button and subscribe if you like my hair.